Welcome back, darlings. This video is a review of the Nilfisk P200. Now this is the absolute top of the line domestic pressure washer that Nilfisk sell. Let me show you around and explain why I've given this an 8 out of 10. Now then, the best way of me showing you around this is by pointing at things. So I thought, what better thing to do than get out of the old pipe, introduce you to turbocharged alpaca and get on with it, eh? So, up top, wonderful 15-metre hose, steel reinforced, power switch, water inlet. So it's all coming out the front. Damn good. Now, coming around this side, winding handle for the hose. That works pretty well. Wish this was metal rather than plastic, but there you go. Here, you can see we have got the power cord. There's a quirk with that. It can only be wound one way in order to make sure this little stowage thing, show you that in a bit more detail. And down the bottom, we have of course got the pressure adjuster. I'm not too sure what it adjusts to though, oh boy. That's enough of that. On the back, we have got the nozzle storage. Now these are really big, chunky metal nozzles. One for your turbo nozzle for blasting patios, and then a sort of pressure adjustable gentle nozzle. It kind of seems to be like a 20-degree fan. You've got inbuilt, well not inbuilt, but an attached foam bottle. This is a 1 litre bottle. We're going to check out the PIR for that to kind of see what ratios we can get with here, because the draw rate isn't massive, so we'll make sure we confirm what that actually is and then compare it with a couple of different foams to see how that performs. Build quality is significantly better than the one on the E160, the Excellent 160. I can show you there. That was pretty ropey in terms of its construction. This is really solid, and it has a metal filter in the end which is user serviceable. We've got stowage on the side there for your kind of extender bar, and then also the stowage here for the main trigger gun. These bits have to be used together. The foam lance attaches to this bit, whereas some cheaper Nilfisks, it goes right on the end. It attaches into this bit, it's the bayonet fitting. So you put this together, and then you attach your nozzle on the end. Very traditional Nilfisk. And then stowage, this is a nice touch. Stowage is here, just rests in there and clips in on top. So you've got a nice, good, solid connection. It's not going to fall out while you're moving around. And the other thing is this handle is up and down, goes up and down. So stows away quite nicely. That still attaches it. This, when it's down like this, it's not really designed to be rested in. This is really for its operating position, which is nice. So it's when it's up like that, full height. Now I will say this is 30 kilos, which is very, very heavy. I'm going to do a little demonstration to show you the difference between lugging this around versus, say, the Ava P57 Easy, which is 11 kilos. So for reference here, you've got the Ava at 11 or so kilos, and the Nilfisk is 3 times as heavy, and I'm about 14 stone, which is about 88 kilos, and that's me putting all my weight to try and get that in up the steps. All right, as you can see, steel reinforced cable this time. I haven't put the wheel guards in, but you can see the main thing is the Ava kind of stopped here. The Excellent 160 10-metre hose stopped here, so the Ava's 12. Excellent 160 was here, kind of just stopped in line. This is the benefit of a 15-metre hose. It's a complete loop and then some, which means you can put the pressure washer further away, don't get it covered in rubbish, and you can do more. Okay, so that's the hose. Let's look at the cable. I really like the way this cable is stowed. I like the fact it's got the twisty bit at the bottom to help you just release all of it in one go. There's one thing I must note, that it only winds up properly if you wind it clockwise. If you go anti-clockwise, you won't have enough cord left to go in the clip which kind of holds it in place at the end, like you're about to see. So, nice bottle with graduated markings on this time. Half a litre. It's a litre bottle. Max power. the collar's turned all the way around. You can see there. Say on. We're running full power on the pressure washer as well, so let's see how much gets discharged. I'm trying to work out where the bottom of that hose is, because that seemed to stop drawing, so let's have a look. It is full length. It's tipping away. Well, we can tell that I've shifted quarter of a litre there, give or take. I don't feel like this is going to be particularly accurate because it felt like it had stopped draining. Maybe it hadn't. And this is a 10 litre bucket. 10, 9, 8, just over 7 litres, marginally. 7 litres to do quarter of a litre would be 28 litres to do an entire litre of solution in here. So the volume of product in here is going to be massive if that was draining properly. Can't see why it wasn't. Let's have a quick look. You got 28,000, which is 28 litres, times 0.04. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get this because it needs 1,120 mil. So you're not going to be able to get this to run at 4% PIR. You would be able to get 3%. You wouldn't be able to get 4. 3% is 840 mil. Having done the PIR calculation, now we get on to producing foam. So this is auto foam, and it's given it's neat in there, this would be about 3.5% PIR, so it's almost at 4%, but not quite. You can see as it's going on, and this is sped up by the way, it's a nice foam, it's consistent, it's thin, but that is auto foam as well, like it does do that, unless you've got a very aerating lance. The fan width is non-adjustable on this, but I have to say it's set very nicely. And after 4 minutes of dwell, that's kind of what we were left with, quite a thin foam. So do a demonstration to change it though. This is Garage Therapy Snow V2, and that's in there neat. So this is going on at about 3.5%. And you can see it's on there much thicker. And again, when I lay it up here, and I'll give it another 4 minutes of dwell, you can kind of see that there's a lot more of the product left on after the dwell time. But it goes on nice, thick, creamy, not too aerated, you know, just right, I would say. It's a wet foam, and that's what we really want. As I said, 4 minutes of dwell time going on here. Now, one of the things you've got to do once you've foamed something is rinse it off. So this is it at full power. You can kind of see the 20-degree nozzle. It's very narrow, it is incredibly powerful. I've never used a pressure washer that puts out this amount of power. I can stand quite far back, I don't need to get close at all, in fact you really wouldn't want to. And it shifts so much dirt off the paint. I don't think I've ever got something this clean from pressure washing alone. There's some serious power in this pressure washer. Too much power perhaps? Maybe, but you can dial it back. I wanted to demonstrate here, of course, is the reach of that long lance. So it's not the zoom lance, no, but you can reach all the way across the top of the van. I'm on a hop up here, I should mention that. But like the zoom lance, I can reach from one side to the other. It's a bit unwieldy in close spaces, perhaps. I'd like to stubby gun in those situations, but it's very effective. I'm just winding the nozzle back now into its rinsing mode. Now, I don't think this is that effective, personally. I would rather see a 60-degree nozzle as opposed to that. The other thing, as I said, you can do, you can turn down the power on the pressure washer. So this is it wound all the way back, but the nozzle in its full pressure 20-degree setting. I would say this feels very, very similar to the C135i that I've got. And when you've got it wound halfway back, it feels very similar to the excellent 160 I reviewed a while ago. So the other job that people buy pressure washers for, largely, is cleaning the patio. And this is where the P200 really excels. So this is it at full power using the Patio Plus head. I think it's been replaced now with something else, but the idea is exactly the same. Conceptually, they're the same things. They are more powerful than the cheap head that comes with the very basic pressure washers. What I will say is when I'm doing this, whilst it's sped up, it took me 2 minutes to do the side on this side of the patio, or the path there, and then when I do on the arbor, it takes 3 minutes.
but it was also cleaner from the Nilfisk side. Now that's not to say the Ava isn't good, and I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is when you jump up to this sort of power, it makes a big difference. What I am going to show you though is the difference in operating volume between the two. So this is the Nilfisk. And now I'm going to give you a little blast of the Ava so you can directly compare the two. So that's those are at 50% volume, otherwise it would definitely, but it does give you a difference in appreciation of the difference between an induction motor like that in the Nilfisk, and that's pretty loud for an induction motor because it's such a big one, versus the universal motor that's in this Ava unit. I stress that because the Evo range, and I think some of the others, but the Evo ones have definitely got induction motors as well, and they're the more powerful ones, and they are also quieter. What I said earlier, this took me twice as long on the Ava side. It did because you'll see in a minute I kind of end up like scrubbing one bit backwards and forwards because I was really trying to get the lichen off, but I was interested to see how much effort it would take in order for it to match the cleaning power of the Nilfisk that I did in like a quick pass, and ultimately I didn't match it. Now that's not to say that the more powerful Avas wouldn't get close. You have to remember that this is not, in terms of specification, this Ava is not in the same league as the Nilfisk we've got. I just wanted to kind of show you the differences in those performances so you can see for yourself just how good at patio cleaning a super powerful pressure washer really is. Now while this dries out, you can really see that on the left hand side of the screen, which is where the Nilfisk was, this is like the before and after, the amount of lichen was pretty even, but the left at the end is way cleaner. So that to me just shows you the extra power you're getting there. On this slab, this little square one in the middle, I'm going to do a 50-50. Now on the right hand side, I've got the pressure washer running at half power, which I think is about equivalent to the output of the excellent 160 I had for review before. And I would say it took about twice as long, or 50% as long then, to achieve the result that I get on the right hand side than it does on the left. And when I do the left hand side, I turn it up to full power. So it's I think this is an interesting test. I was fascinated by it myself. There is a big difference to be gained by stepping up to this pressure washer for these sorts of jobs. And we're up to full power now. And yeah, you can even see just here visually how much more it's taking off, how quickly. Like that lichen is just disappearing in the first pass, not needing like a second trip, which is incredible. That shows you the difference in the power to me. It's a great demonstration. Now, in this time lapse, you can see that they're both sides are as clean as each other, but I would say it took 2/3 the time to get to that level of cleanliness on the left hand side, so that's it at full power. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Like the pun? Hose removal is nice and easy. That's a really gentle release. Put that one in there, and let's have a look. Let's wind it up. So you've got the guide here for the hose, so this should be relatively straightforward and simple. Very straightforward, very easy, and it's got this bung stop on it. That's very nice.
So, the P200, why is it an 8 out of 10? Well, it's an incredibly competent piece of machinery, and I would definitely recommend this one. The things that kind of stop it from being a 10 out of 10 for me are it's at least £550, nearer £600 if you buy one of the kits. The foam cannon isn't still quite good enough, so you'd need to buy an aftermarket one. And I think the lack of a wider nozzle, like a 60-degree rinse nozzle, I would take that, or kind of almost expect it, rather than having these metal clad ones. How about you have 3 of the plastic ones, but one's the 60-degree nozzle, one's the 20-degree, and then one's the turbo nozzle, or have a Vario one on there. Something like that. But those are the only things, and I'm kind of nitpicking, but for that sort of money I feel like it should be perfect, and it is very, very, very close to it, and I think for most people this would be enough. The foam cannon is good enough, you just kind of need to change the foam, so don't use auto foam and you'll be alright. the nozzles are brilliant. They're very well made. It is so powerful. I've never used anything as powerful as that, and it's actually a real joy to clean with because it's doing the work so effectively. So yeah, hopefully that's been useful and you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing this one. We'll do some other reviews going on. I might have some more for Nilfisk to try and get some cartridges perhaps. Don't know. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. Go and like and subscribe. See you in the next one. And watch out for Jerry in the sun, eh?